You asked what to check for when buying a used car. Hi, my name is Jerry. I've been buying and selling cars since 1976. I've bought lots of cars. And here's a few checkpoints that I use when I go to look at a car. The first thing is I go up and I check out the condition of the body. So I'm checking all the seams, looking for chips, looking for around the fender wells, looking for any kind of rust areas. I like to open up the trunk and get in there. That's often where a car will leak, and you'll get often underneath the spare tire. Pull the carpet away, look for any kind of water damage. You can also see where there's overspray from paint if they've done kind of a quickie paint job after an accident. You definitely want to try to stay away from that. Then I go and I kind of bounce the corners. I put all my weight on each corner to check the suspension and see how well it bounces back. And it'll give you an idea what kind of the condition the shocks are in. And where you're doing that, you can also look at the tires to make sure that they're worn evenly. Now, if the tires are half worn out, well, they still have a half a life in them. But if some of the front ones are worn, unevenly, it could be some alignment problems or maybe some frame damage from an accident. So you really want to check into that. So evenly worn on the tires. I crawl underneath, and you might want to put an old shirt on for this. And some cars are really slung low to the ground, hard to do. But I crawl underneath the best I can, and I check out the muffler, make sure it's not rusty, making sure it's not hanging there with some old coat hanger wire. I check for oil leaks underneath the transmission and the engine, and just have an all-around good look at it to see if it's rusty or not. If it's really rusty, you might want to pass on to something else, because once you get a lot of rust, it starts to eat through everything. Bolts are hard to get off, and it's a real headache and get really expensive doing repairs that way. Next thing I do is I check the engine compartment. I want it to be nice and clean. Doesn't have to be perfect, but nice and clean, and no sign of rust. Often you see stickers inside them where there's been oil changes done or maybe a timing belt replaced. So you want to check that out. Make sure the engine's cold before you fire it up, because some engines have a hard time starting when they're cold. So if it's already warm, that might be a little bit of a problem the guy's trying to hide from you. So I like to start up when it's cold, and then once it's warmed up, I like to turn it off and then make sure it starts up again when it's warm as well. And you want to make sure the engine is running smoothly. Shifting the transmission, whether it's standard or automatic, you want it to be quiet and to shift really smoothly. And don't forget reverse. If it's all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, you want to be able to get off into the gravel where you can spin the wheels a bit to make sure the other wheels engage. And once you're out on the road for a test drive and there's no cars behind you, definitely check that out. I like to tap the brakes, push the brakes on, make sure that the car is stopping in a nice straight line. There's no shuddering in the brakes. And then I like to do a panic stop as if somebody was running in front of you and really, punch on the brakes and make sure the car stops in a nice straight line and doesn't drift off to the side. Also, when I'm driving back up to speed, I take my hand off the wheel just for a minute, just a half an inch away, just a hand above it, and to make sure the car is tracking straight and we don't have any alignment problems that way. Everything's looking good. We get down to negotiation, but at first I want to have it checked over by a mechanic. And I'm not a mechanic. I know what to look for on what we're talking about, but a mechanic will go through the engine, the transmission with a lot more detail. Maybe have a look at the brakes, take the wheels off, look for any real problems. Also, I'd want to make sure there's not a lien on it, or I go through something like Carfax, make sure there hasn't been any severe damage. In most cars, used cars, have got a couple little fender benders, not a big deal. But if it's anything that's, say, damaged the frame, stay away from it. And, we all work hard for our money, and we want our car and our money to work hard for us. And even a used car can be expensive. And what we've done to help pay for our cars or toys is a couple of months ago, we got hooked up with some folks online. We're doing some online marketing. It's really simple. They guide us step by step, and it's a lot of fun. Where a lot of my friends are out at work right now. It's Friday after, well, it's not even afternoon, just before lunch on a Friday. They're all slaving away, and here I am doing some videos at home and helping you answer the question what to look for in buying a used car. If you'd like to see what we're doing, just click the link below or go to workwithjerry.com. That's workwithgerry.com. All right, I hope this answered your question, what to check for in buying a used car, and I hope I've been of help. Thanks for looking at my video. We'll see you out on the road somewhere. Cheers. Bye-bye.